Princess Mononoke is a 1997 movie made by Studio Ghibli, the same creators of 2001's Spirit Way and 2004's Howl's Moving Castle, and directed by Hayao Miyazaki, who by many in the anime industry is seen as a genius, not only as a creator, but also his work on screenplay and music. And when you see Princess Mononoke, you will know why. This beautiful film won multiple animation awards, praising its storytelling, animation, and popularity. Also won 1998's Best Picture Award in Japan, not as an anime movie, but as a full feature movie. The story is set on feudal Japan. A small village is being attacked by a demon boar, and here is when we meet our main hero, Ashitaka, who battles the demon with the help of the village. The demon is defeated by our hero, but not before he puts a curse on him. A curse that will spread through his body as a disease and finally end him. This is when Ashitaka's adventure begins, as he decides to travel seeking a cure. He eventually reaches another town that specializes on metalworks and finds himself in the middle of an interesting conflict between the town inhabitants who wants to expand destroying the forest and the mystic creatures from the forest that are willing to protect it at all cost. Here is where we meet our other hero, San, a young woman who was raised by the creatures of the forest and the only human being fighting on their behalf. We also meet our main villain, Lady Eboshi, whose ambition will lead her on a crazy war against the creatures of the forest. Ashitaka will try to find a solution to end this conflict, avoiding war while fighting his own curse. The movie plays a lot with mystical and fantasy elements that fits perfect for the time period. It is the classic human versus nature story, with a unique take. On one hand, we can see very realistic and familiar scenes in which humans try to take over nature in the name of progress, while on the other, we find supernatural beings that will defend traditions and balance. The symbolism of the plot is very impressive. For most of the movie, we are traveling with Ashitaka and his journey seeking a cure to fight his curse. I personally feel that this main character is very dull, although he has a great motive, but he hardly shows any emotions for most part of the film. He starts very strong, and he has his moments on the second and final act, but overall Ashitaka feels very flat. It is not a complicated character, and one of the weakest elements of the film, which is a problem because he is not only the main character, but also has most of the screen time. San, on contrast, is great. She is moved by passion and emotions, has a very complex background, and her motives are legit. She will find herself in a struggle between her love for nature and the mystic creatures of the forest and her own humanity, which is a new feeling for her. Lady Eboshi, the main villain, is more an anti-hero than a villain. She is dark, but on a serious way, on a very realistic way. She wants to expand her operations not only to produce more and gain more influence on the region, but also to help her people. She can be very relatable to someone that has been in difficult positions. However, she handles every situation as expected, as she is very predictable, but also in a good way, because the movie as a whole already has a lot going on with the mystical creatures of the forest, therefore, adding unexpected situations would have been very distracting. The mystical creatures are very complex. They see everything black and white, as you can expect from someone that is feeling constantly threatened. I personally love the Kodama. They can be funny and scary at the same time, which is a very bizarre feeling. The creatures will have their own internal struggles, and it is the main reason of their weakness. The rest of the supporting cast is very strong. All of them serves a purpose and add to the story. It doesn't feel that any character is wasted, which is always a good thing. The film is very straightforward for what seems to be a very complex story to tell. I feel that the pacing and storytelling is flawless. Although sometimes it feels that the movie is slowing down, this serves a purpose, and that is to digest the number of events that are happening in a given time. And instead of feeling bored on those periods, I felt relieved. The conflict, although based on fantasy, felt very real. There is a ton of action scenes. Sometimes they come from out of nowhere and violence can get graphical, but not in a dark way, but more on a bright way. Sometimes those graphical violent scenes are pretty hilarious. Animation is great, backgrounds are beautiful and very impressive. It really feels like feudal times, with a perfect balance of nature and progress. However, I'm not a big fan of some of the character design, which is very unique from Studio Ghibli. Some characters seem very serious on the way they are drawn, but others seem like kids or cartoonish. The score is outstanding. It's really epic and immersive. It really feels like an award winning movie, which it is. It also feels like one of those classic Disney movies. It is really good. Princess Mononoke is a 9 out of 10 and a must watch. It's a great film overall. I definitely recommend it to everyone and is appropriate for any age. It is a family film. It's a beautiful story with a great meaning that will keep you interested on its 125 minutes long. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. And if you like the video, remember to hit that like button. I publish anime content on my channel every week and more coming up. I will see you all very soon.